Welcome to TotemPole Sports. This is Lambo, and of course, Coach Troy Taylor is missing again. He's in Miami. He is old. He went to bed. And of course, we have the man right here, the man from Soul. The man from Soul is here. Uh, Paul, how was your day? How was your day on a Tuesday? I know you're enjoying retirement.
I am. I truly am. It was a good day. Oh, hold on. Wow, I'm all over the deck here. Um.
Oh,
Wow. Okay. Hold on. Rescue. Rescue. There we go. All right. That's going to work here. Yeah. Great day. As the old commentator, I love the guy over there at Manchester. It was a great day in the Old Dominion.
great
So,
day in Old Dominion.
in the Old Dominion. But yeah, pretty good day. I mean, it was well, when you're talking sports landscape, man. I'm glad I got to take a breath from what I saw this weekend.
Yo,
Like, there was nothing going on with that tournament because man, and I'm telling you, it's not just the guys. The women showed out. I mean,
yo,
showed out, and it. I mean, I am tired. I am tired. I'm just mentally tired, mentally exhausted from watching those games and watching people play at a level that some of us didn't think they'd go to.
yo.
But they went there. Miss Clark, she went there. She went there. And then, I mean, and then, on the peripheral, we have, here come the Lakers and making their charge. And, across the pond, we've got soccer, the race for the English Premier League Cup, La Liga, French One, Serie A, the Bundesliga. It was nonstop sports this weekend, and I had to jump off the train today. I mean, I am exhausted because we're about to step into a whole nother level of
Yeah.
basketball this weekend. It's just going to take it a life of its own. As a golfer, best weekend of the year is coming up. The Masters is right around the corner. Tiger just announced that he's coming back and going to give it a go and try to win the six green jacket. So a lot of excitement. The weather's getting warmer. It's just an exciting time.
I agree. It is an exciting time. Like you said, there's a lot of sports going on this weekend. You got the UFL season that just
Oh,
started.
I
Week
didn't even
two.
mention that. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Sorry, Mr. Rock. You showed up and showed out as well. Unbelievable broadcast. And I mean, I'm sorry to cut you off, man. You saw it. All the hearing the referees talk, the coach talking to the quarterback. I was blown away. I'm done. I was in the arena. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. I agree. You the UFL that had that happen. Well, this weekend it's gonna be way bigger. UFL. You got baseball going on. You got the Final Four going on. You got WWE WrestleMania this week as
Uh,
well. So you got a lot of content, a lot of sports that we're going to get into. You got WrestleMania night one on Saturday, and then Sunday is night two. Sunday is also the women's championship, and then Monday
mhm.
is going to be the men's final four. There's going to be a lot of things we're going to talk about. The first thing, let's get into the Iowa versus LSU, the most watched game in women's college basketball history, right? The most watched game. Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, Kim McKirkley, and the Iowa coach is very great. Like you said, we talked about this yesterday. Iowa had a chance to, obviously win their games, but they didn't execute. Excuse me. LSU had a chance to win the game, but LSU did not execute. How do you feel about women's basketball, Paul? Because I know I love women's basketball. The more I watch it, I can't get detached from it. I definitely finished watching that UConn and USC game that came out to the wire as well. How do you feel about this? And imagine whatever happens in the Final Four. Let's say South Carolina and UConn. That could be the most watched. Or South Carolina, Iowa could be the most watched. I mean,
Okay. Yeah. I
how
mean,
do you
yeah.
feel
I
about
mean,
this, Paul?
hey, I'm all in. I'll piggyback on what you said. It's grown on me just like I mean, the U.S. women's soccer team. They're must see TV, and I'm not gonna let you get away from you taking UConn over
Well,
my beloved Iowa Hawkeyes, the Lady Hawkeyes from Iowa
that's
City.
that's what's gonna happen.
That's what's gonna happen.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-mm. Nope. If you watched the UConn USC game, you know that's not gonna happen.
How many times Gino is the best coach in all of college basketball? Right?
He doesn't. Hey, yo,
Dawn Staley's in it too.
he doesn't play defense, and he doesn't shoot threes, and he's not. He doesn't have.
You
He
forgot
doesn't have.
you forgot UConn has been in the Final Four and won what 3-4 titles in a row. You forgot.
Yeah, but have they ever seen someone like the lady Steph Curry?
No, but I will give
No.
you a point.
Do
Hold on,
do
Paul.
do
Paul,
do.
before you continue, Paige Buckner's was that Caitlin Clark before she tore her ACL. Paige Buckner's was that woman before she tore her ACL. She still is that woman, but
And
it was
she still is. She still is a absolute Swiss Army knife. I will have her on my ball club any day. But she is not number 22 for the Lady Hawkeyes. She is not. No, 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 no.
you can go ahead with your point. Go ahead. I didn't know if you had anything else to say, but go ahead.
Well,
Uh,
I'll just say one more thing, and I'll let you run with it. My buddy called me and said, "Hey, man, Caitlin Clark scored 41 points and had 12 assists. Not only can she just ball out and hit threes and score, she can dime up people at a double clip. Come on, man. Come on, man.
mm,
Yeah.
well, Well, Caitlin Clark is that woman. I'm not denying that at all. In the game, it was a very great game yesterday, especially Iowa and LSU. Um, it averaged about 12.3 million viewers on ESPN. The Iowa LSU game outdrew all but one of five games in the last year's NBA Finals and last year's World Series, which should contribute almost 11.5 million views. Caitlin Clark scored 41 points and had revenge from the loss against the national championship for the Tigers last year, as well as this game will be something to watch going forward in the future. But I'm not surprised. Caitlin Clark is still that girl. She can hoop. They're balling. Uh, but at the end of the day, I'm just how confident how confident am I that they're going to beat UConn? Zero. They're not gonna sit there and they're not gonna beat UConn. Come on now. Let's be real. They're not gonna beat UConn. They're not gonna do it. I promise you. I promise you they're not gonna beat UConn. That's just how I feel. Coach Ball is in the building. Coach Ball. Huge views on Iowa and LSU. Hated seeing Angel Reese going down so early. Um, there you go. Going down so early with that ankle. Hey, Coach Bald, it is what it is when it comes to basketball. It's very tough. But LSU had the plan to beat
Yeah,
him. But
injuries are part of the equation, but however, they did have a little momentum there. She was rolling early, steals,
yeah,
getting into passing lanes.
yep, I agree. Next topic we're gonna get into as far as sports is Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid returned to the 76ers. He did have a huge knee injury at the end of January. Um, the 76ers are still on pace to make the playoffs. Obviously, they got new coach Nick Nurse. How do you feel about Joel Embiid's return? And how do you feel about the 76ers? Can you
Oh,
hear
I'm
me?
sorry. I
Oh,
was reading the comments
uh,
from Coach Ball.
Oreo.
Because Coach,
Oreo.
yeah, hey Oreo, yeah, Coach Ball is on rampage over there. Uh, he, you know, I don't, I feel really bad for Joel. Uh, I don't like him coming back in this spot. I don't. I mean, if he was coming back to a favorable position, meaning if he's on the floor that they have the pole position in the playoffs, then I'm all for it. But do you give them a shot? Do they have a shot
Not
in your book?
not over the Boston. I think the 76ers will win the first round and get eliminated in the second round. They're not beating my Boston Celtics. No
If
sir.
they if they do that, so just just shut it down before you mess something really up. Like if you're in line to win a championship, right? I mean, by you coming back, sign me up. But I can wait till next year. I can wait till next year because you know, I truly believe this. When you try to rush things, things get messed up.
Mm, mm.
Haste makes waste.
Ah,
Because if it wasn't the end of the season, if we were in the middle of the season, would he be back on the floor, or would they take a little bit more time?
that depends on when he got hurt. He's gotten hurt in January 30th, so he has not played in 2 months since the knee surgery.
Yeah, again,
I think that he should have waited till the playoffs to come. But go ahead.
the pundits out there will bash him for not coming back and support this team. Look, I truly believe is if they don't have a chance to win a championship, then keep it moving until next year. Because if they win a championship next year, because he sat out this year, everyone will be on the other side of this, going, man, wow, that's great that he sat out. No, 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 don't say that now because you are the same people going, why is he sitting out if he's healthy enough to play? You can't have it both ways, you know. And in this situation, like I said, if you don't have a chance to win right now, shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Get back in the rehab room and get 110% healthy. And then, we'll go through free agency and all that, the draft, and then come back and go for it.
All right.
I just don't think he's 100%. I just
Mm.
think he's doing it because the playoffs is coming back and I'm going to play playoff basketball. But you've been sitting out a long time and you're getting ready to step into playoff basketball. Mm, they're asking for trouble. And,
Well,
and again, it says knee surgery. He just didn't rest his knee. He had surgery. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. I just assume with Joel Embiid that you return uh, in the playoffs. Returning a week before the end of the regular season is not good. But he was cleared to return against Oklahoma City. Uh, and the standings in the Eastern Conference are not good for the Sixers. The Sixers' overall record is 14-27 without Joel Embiid, and with him this season, and 11-18 since he was injured at the loss of Golden State. Um, he was on pace to win MVP until he got hurt, and then he didn't play that 65 game rule where you got to play 65 games to be considered for MVP. That injury affected him as well. But also the Sixers didn't play without Tyrese Maxey, and then the Thunder played without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams. But they're eighth in the East. So I kind of agree with what you're saying, but they're kind of in trouble now. They've plummeted. They went
Mm-hmm.
from the sixth seed or the fifth seed to the eighth seed. So bringing him back, injury wise, I understand, but the Sixers on the verge of missing the playoffs. And
Yeah. So
normally,
if they're an eighth seed, how do you see them winning a first round game? That ain't happening because they're going to play the Celtics. Game over.
yeah,
If they make it through the play-in tournament.
Yes. So they're the number 8 seed, the number 7, number 8 seed gets in, and the number 7 seed for the playoffs. The loser has a second chance, but I with this team, I don't know. With Nick Nurse, I think he's a great coach. He won titles in the G League. He won the title with the Toronto Raptors, obviously. But this 76ers team has been banged up all season with Embiid, and then they traded Patrick Beverly to the Bucks. So a lot of missing pieces here.
Yeah,
But
I mean, that was the writing on the wall right there. Your best perimeter defender you give to your rival that you're trying to get through to get to the championship. Shut it down.
it's just tough. I don't know. But if the 76ers don't make the playoffs, y'all can say it's the Embiid injury, but it's kind of it's more than that. All right, let's talk about LeBron James, the GOAT of this generation. I still
No,
think hold on. I said in this generation, my GOAT is Michael Jordan. I think Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. I'm talking about this generation, the people that don't know who Michael Jordan is, right?
okay,
That never watched him play. That's why I'm
fair
saying
enough.
LeBron is the GOAT for this generation. My GOAT is Michael Jordan. I will always say Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. LeBron James scores 23 points. The Lakers win seventh time in 8 games. The Lakers start off the season pretty god awful, and now they're pushing up the playoff rankings. Are you sold on the Lakers? I'm not. I still think the Denver Nuggets will probably go out the West, or maybe the Timberwolves.
Well,
OKC's number 1 seed as well.
okay, great question. And here is my take on this question. If you look who sits in the 2 and the 3 slot in the Western Conference Finals, whoever is in the 2 slot, because I think it's the Timberwolves. If the Nuggets are a bona fide 1 seed and they stay there and end the season there, and the Lakers make it the play in, and they get to the number 7 seed, and it's the Lakers and Timberwolves, let me tell you something. The Lakers are playing at their peak level right now. At full strength, the Lakers can ball. If you look back and you see that 7th time out of 8 games, well, I've been watching their scores, and their scores look like the one from tonight. It's a drubbing that they're giving the other team. And again, these are all NBA teams, so I don't want anyone to say, "Well, look who they're playing." No, the Lakers are turning it up because they have to get in. So if they're capable of playing like that, then they're going to be capable of playing like that in St. Paul. And if they play like that in St. Paul, you don't Lambo, can they steal one in Minneapolis?
Hell no.
What?
Minneapolis, they're gonna beat the Timberwolves?
Can they steal one of the first two games in Minneapolis. So are
I
you going to
give
say
them.
that Lake?
I'll give them one. I don't know about two.
Okay,
I give
so
them
now
one.
we go back to LA 1-1. You see what I'm see? You see, I'm not saying that. Okay, I'm not saying that the Lakers are going to win the series, but if they get back to LA 1-1, who's the pressure on? The Lakers or the Timberwolves?
The Timberwolves.
Correct. And do you want to go? If you do, you want to go into LA and the pressure's on you, and on the other side is LeBron James. No,
No.
you do not, because he knows how to. The one thing he does know how to do is to put his team in a position to win a game of that magnitude, because LeBron knows 1-1, we get one. Let's just get one. We come back to LA. If we go up 2-1, who's the pressure on? LeBron or the Timberwolves?
Timberwolves. They will be under
Timberwolves.
pressure again.
Watch out. All I'm going to say is watch out. Be careful. Be very careful when you're talking about the Lakers and their season being over. Because you know what happens when they beat the Timberwolves?
But
They become the 2 seed, because now they're playing the 3 seed. They're the 2 seed now. They just move themselves up the ladder that quickly. That's why when you see the playoffs, it's not the way it looks. Because if a bottom feeder, if the 7 beats the 2, the 7 is now the 2. They just have to wear road uniforms and start on the road again the next series. But they're the hot team now. And who's in the 3 hole? Is that
Denver.
OKC?
Oh no, OKC, Minnesota, and Denver are all tied for first place.
Okay,
52 and 23.
let's just say the season ends with Denver at the 1, and that's where the Lakers want them to be, because they want to see them later. If
They
you
will
have
be there.
two young teams in the Timberwolves and OKC at 2 and 3, if the Lakers beat one of them in the following round, now it's the Lakers coming to OKC. Okay, yeah, we're the 7th seed, but we're really the 2, because we just beat them. And then they go to OKC and they steal a game. They go back to LA 1-1 against OKC. Who got the pressure? LeBron?
OKC. OKC.
Again, and I'm not a Laker fan. I'm not a Laker homer. I don't even like the Lakers. And I'm not a LeBron fan, but I know the soap opera that is the National Basketball Association that includes LeBron James. And again, you put yourself in that position with a young basketball team, that's where the experience of AD and LeBron are going to come get you. And and again, I think back in LA where they're sitting back and talking about is like, come on, Denver, get the 1 seed, get out of our way. We'll make our way to the 7 seed, and then we'll fight the first 2 rounds against the 2 and the 3, and then hopefully we see Denver in the finals after they have some mileage on their legs. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I'm telling you, it's the Lakers' best shot of making it. I'd rather
Okay.
if the Lakers if all right, let's say that the Denver ends up the 2 seed. I will tell you right now, the Lakers are going home first round if they have the
Okay.
7 seed. If the 2 young teams, Minnesota and OKC, is the 2 and the 3, the Lakers are live. They're live in the 7 hole. They are live. You've seen this movie before, Lambo. I mean,
I have.
you don't have as much wear on the tires as I do, but you've seen this movie before.
Okay. I do agree. You're not wrong. I don't. The Lakers are not as much of a threat as I think they are, even though they won 7 out of 8 games. They've
Hmm.
been inconsistent. What type of Anthony Davis are you going to get? Now, Anthony Davis has played more games than he did last season. What type of Anthony Davis are you going to get in the playoffs now? Are you going to get a guy that gets 40 and then 11? Because we've seen that multiple times. So I got to see a prime time consistent AD. Now, well, you're mentioning seeds. OKC, Minnesota, and Denver are tied 52 and 23. They are tied for the number one seed in the Western Conference. It's wide open.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can win that. But watch out for an OKC team and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I know they're a young team, but Shea Gilgeous-Alexander has a chance to win MVP. He has a chance. You got the 4, 5, and 6 seed, the Clippers, the Mavericks, and the Pelicans. 7, 8, 9, and 10 seeds are going to be the play-ins, I think. Phoenix, Sacramento, Lakers, Golden State. Right?
Correct. Now, hey Lambo, check this out. And like I said, and I won't come off this stance. If the Lakers face the Nuggets in the first round, coming out of the play-in, they're going home. They're not beating the Nuggets in the first round. No way.
I agree.
But they have a fighter's chance if they make them if they're the one seed and then they don't see them to the Western Conference Finals, they have a better chance of beating them there than they do in the first round.
So wait. You're telling me if the Lakers make the Western Conference Finals, they have a better chance of beating them?
Denver, because people have games. There's wear on the tires. I'm strategically. I'm just telling you. I'm not saying the Lakers are going to beat them. I'm just saying if I'm the Lakers, I want to play them after 3 weeks of basketball than to play them the first round when they're fresh. Joker's fresh. They're going home.
If I'm the Lakers, I'd rather try to avoid them. Possibly get the certain
That's what I'm saying. The
Conference.
way to avoid them is for them to get the 1 seed and you're in the 7 hole and you're battling with the 2 and the 3. You don't see them to the conference finals. And maybe they have a chance to trip up and lose, which I seriously doubt. But you give them 2 rounds to exhaust themselves a little bit.
I see what you're saying. I just don't think the Lakers have a chance at all. Like I don't see them having a chance. Just
So they
because
don't have a chance. They don't have a chance against the Timberwolves. They don't have a chance against OKC.
they got a better chance of OKC than the Timberwolves. They got a better chance of OKC than the Timberwolves. That depends on who finishes number 1. And then you're forgetting about Golden State. Now I know Golden State isn't as what they used to be, but the same thing you said about the Lakers. You know, sleeping on them. Don't sleep on Golden State now. What if Golden State
I'm
turns out?
not. I'm
Don't
not.
sleep on Golden State now.
I'm not. Again, it's the same scenario with Golden State. If Golden State City, the key position, the pole position for the teams that aren't on the top is number 7. If you get to number 7, that's a good place to sit if Denver is the 1 seed. That's a good place to be hanging out.
I agree. But we'll see what happens in the Western Conference. A tough Western Conference, obviously. With some dogs in them teams. LeBron, Anthony Davis, both combined for 44 points. As they beat the crappy Toronto Raptors. Obviously, D'Angelo Russell, he was on trade rumors. He's been efficient. He's been consistent, shooting 7 for 14. He scored 25 points. Rui Hachimura had 14. Max Christine had 12. The NBA's career leading scorer, James shot 10 or 12 and had 9 assists. So the Lakers are on the roll. They're on a pace to do something, but we will have to see. But as me as being a fan, I'm not very sold on the Lakers. LeBron can do his thing, but it's going to be just like last year. LeBron is going to get a chance to, do something, and then, he's going to fall off and get old like he did in the Western Conference Finals when they got swept 4-0. When he took 3, 4 bad shots, the worst shots I've ever seen in my entire life, and go from there. So as much respect as I have for the Lakers, if Kobe Bean Bryant was still alive, I would not count the little in-season tournament as a championship. I would never count that. That is an AAU championship. I would never count that in my entire life. I wouldn't count that. It's not a championship. It's an AAU tournament. I don't count that as a championship. No. Not me. Kobe Bean Bryant wouldn't accept that. Not even Magic Johnson. But next thing, black coaches were low hanging fruit in FBI's college hoops case that wrecked careers and then fizzled out. We've seen some documentaries in the past. The Scheme that came out on my birthday, I think, like 4 years ago. The college, the players getting paid, the Will Wade, and then also we seen the HBO of of the Bishop Sycamore. We've seen some crazy stuff. Uh, with this FBI being involved, some stuff by the NCAA. Paul, how do you feel about this?
Mm. Uh, well, hey, um, being an ex-military guy, there's the hard right over the wrong left. I mean, whatever you saw on the documentaries, and what the people did. I mean, okay, you did it. I mean, you're trying to take shortcuts to being a great, good or great franchise or school or what have you. But at the end of the day, it's never going to work out. I mean, um, again, take the hard left over the easy right, take the hard right over the easy left because it's gonna come to fruition, and you're just gonna have to deal with it. But um, some would say if you're not cheating, you ain't trying. But not when it comes to the FBI and the NCAA because they will hammer you, and they'll suspend wins, take scholarships away. So in the end, it's truly not worth it because then you really dug a hole for yourself, and it just takes longer to get back to where you want to get back to.
Four assistant coaches were arrested in 2017 in the FBI probe designed to clean up a pre-NIL deal in the college basketball world. All of them are black. Not even just that. If you watch the Scheme documentary, part of that was Will Wade. Will Wade got fired at LSU, and then we had Sean Miller who got fired in Arizona. So it wasn't just black coaches. It
Yeah, he
was
was here. He was here at VCU.
Yeah, he was. He was here at VCU. Became the head coach at LSU, but he's doing a good job at McNeese State right now. Sean
Hmm.
Miller was in Arizona. Got fired. I think he went to Xavier. I don't know if he's still at Xavier. Uh, but it, I agree with paying your players, but it's got to be a certain way that you do it. Um, this guy is one of the four assistant coaches, Book Richardson. He's one of the four assistant coaches, along with groups of six agents, their financial backers, and shoe company representatives were arrested in 2017 uh, due to off the books payments to players and their families that was at the time it was against the NCAA. It was against the NCAA rules, right? You can't break the rules. I agree that you should be able to pay your players, but you shouldn't. There's a certain way that you know got to do that do that stuff. Um, Unfortunately, it's sad on how that eventually happened. But at the end of the day, we got NIL and stuff coming out now, so now you can pay the players. It's the correct way that you can do it now. But you know, this has been going on for a while. Not even a couple years. It's been going on when you were in your 20s, like me. It's been going on in the 90s, 2000s, even in college football. Look at the Swamp Kings with Tim Tebow. That stuff been going on for a while. It was just on the
Look at
low.
the Pony Express and Eric Dickerson. That's before I even played little league ball.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot, but hopefully these teams will be all right. Part of that scandal was Tony Bland, Lamont Evans, Chuck Pearson, Emmanuel Book Richardson. One of those two assistant coaches were part of the Scheme documentary that was on HBO Max. I thought it was pretty good. I watched it. I learned a lot of great stuff. But you know, what's right, what's wrong was wrong, what's right was right. I mean, I want you to pay your players, but at the end of the day, there's a certain way that you have to be able to do things. Let's talk some baseball. Cody Bellinger hits a two-run homer as Chicago Cubs pound the Colorado Rockies 12-2. How do you feel about how do you feel about the Chicago Cubs? How do you feel?
It's still early. The jury's still out. I mean, I woke up this morning to the Detroit Tigers and the Pittsburgh Pirates being undefeated. So I pump our brakes again. We talked about this yesterday and last night. 162 games, and the Yankees got up the gate quick, swept the Astros, but 4 or 5 games in, 6 games in. Let me get to 40 games in before I can start seeing who's who in the zoo.
40 games?
I need 40.
So you're talking about 40 out of 166.
Yes, I mean that I can at 40 games. I can okay. So that's a quarter. At the quarter pole through the season. I can actually see. Okay, let me see the standings. Okay, literally, and Lambo, you know this. When you look at the standings after 40 games, you know who ain't making it back up to the top.
I agree. Yep.
You know who's not making a run. You know that team is just going to be, stealing a win here and there, but they're going to remain at the bottom of the division. But then you can see where there's a chance here. You know, a team that's good, that started slow, that has good players, can make a run in the summertime. That's a handful of teams. That's not everybody. So after 40 games, I mean, we can eliminate how many teams?
At least 20. I mean, if it's 16, half of the teams in MLB. How many teams in MLB you can eliminate at least half of them?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Golf. PGA Tour and Live Golf get to the final week before the Masters. How are you feeling? I know you're excited about the Masters and Tiger returning.
Yeah.
Is there any other guys that you're interested in before the Masters?
Well, I mean, Scheffler's coming in good in good form, and then you got to be careful. You got to watch these live guys because again, they've been on a separate tour, doing I mean, and not collaborating with the PGA players. Some of the guys have the pedigree to win a green jacket, but they are shaping their game away from the others, so the others don't see them. And number one in my mind is Mr. Kepka. Kepka, Kepka's a 6-time champion, a major champion, and he's the one guy that he plays with a chip on his shoulder. And this is one tournament he hasn't won, so. And again, these guys that are major champion winners, they gear themselves to winning major championships because they know that's part of legacy once you start winning them. So I think you watch Kepka here. You know, you you don't want to wait too long before you're in contention for one of these. And this is one of those ones he hasn't checked off his to-do list is the Masters, um, and the British. But I think Kepka's live this year, 2024, in Augusta.
Oh, so is Tiger going to win it or no? Or is he too old?
Tiger's not too old. Now here's the deal with Tiger. Tiger knows every blade of grass at Augusta National. If Tiger Woods is sniffing around the leaderboard on Sunday, if he can keep himself physically together and string together enough birdies to be in contention, meaning I'd say 3 to 4 strokes back of the leader on Sunday, be careful because he's the ultimate dog, and
Mm.
he'll find a way.
All right. Talk some NBA. Um, Rajon Rondo has retired after 16 seasons. Um, how do you feel about Rajon Rondo retiring after 16 seasons? I don't remember the last time he's played, but how do you feel about the retirement of Rajon Rondo?
Well, I will. Well, you know, I will remember Rajon Rondo for the top half of his career when um, you know, he didn't do the impossible, but he had a tall order, to corral KG, Paul Pierce, and those boys up in Boston, and he was just a young guy. And Doc gave him full reins of running his sets. And he did it masterfully as a young player out of Kentucky. And then he helped a couple of franchises along the way. But for a guy who wasn't a knockdown outside 3-point shooter from the guard position, you got to give him credit. He controlled games. He knew how to control a game without having to be a guard that could score, a guard that could shoot.
Hmm. All right, NFL, right? Chiefs re-signed Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Carson Wentz, who was the former number one pick, and uh, got re-signed uh, to the Chiefs. How do you feel about this signing of Carson Wentz?
Um, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, that's a
Yeah,
good pickup. He's been with
yep.
the organization. Carson Wentz, um, I like this pickup, and the only reason I say that is I know the Chiefs already had a backup quarterback in house, but like you said, a former number one pick in the draft, he's not going to do anything in terms of challenging Pat Mahomes. Let's not get that twisted. However, this is a bold move by the Chiefs to prepare for anything long term happening to Patrick Mahomes that threatens their three-peat. That's what this move is all about because they are all in. If you haven't noticed the moves that they've made in the offseason, it's an all in move for the Chiefs. So to be all in, it's all in at all positions, meaning if Pat Mahomes goes down for the year, we're still trying to win it. And we got Andy Reid, Carson Wentz, first round talent. Let's see if Andy can put something together if he has to get on the field, and let's and conclude our three-peat without Pat. That's what that move's all about to me.
I think it's a great move. I know the running back, you got Isaiah Pacheco, who was great this season. Clyde Edwards-Helaire wasn't too much in the mix, obviously. When it comes to Carson Wentz, it was number two overall pick, right behind Jared Goff in the 2016 draft. This is going to be his 15. His 15 since starting with the Philadelphia Eagles. He spent the last season with the Rams. They somehow still made the playoffs. And then he finished in third MVP voting in 2017. He was part of the team that led to the Super Bowl that upset the Patriots when he tore two ligaments in his knee. Obviously, Nick Foles was that guy, and Nick Foles had a name. Last time Carson Wentz uh, started was the 17th, or excuse me, 17 games for the Colts in 2021. Led a record to 9-8. One of his best seasons he had was over 3,500 yards, 27 touchdown passes, 7 interceptions. Started 7 games for the Commanders, and then won his only start for Los Angeles Rams in the season finale against the 49ers. The game that nobody watched, that nobody really cared about. So Carson Wentz, I think, fits perfectly in the Andy Reid system, where you're not trying to, Andy Reid likes to take shots down the field. He likes to run a lot of RPOs. You got Matt Nagy, the offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, with the departure of Eric Bieniemy. But I like this move. It's a great pickup, obviously, like you said. They had a couple backups, but with Patrick Mahomes restructuring that contract, Patrick Mahomes has had a couple ankle injuries in the past. He's played through them, and he's had a hand finger, not a big deal, but they just want to be safe. The Chiefs are trying to win back-to-back Super Bowls, the third year in a row. That's going to be very, very tough. They could be, this will be very tough for them to do that. But I think at the end of the day, what it comes down to is set up for success. Carson Wentz, I think he'll be fine. He's not the same player he once was with the Eagles. Well, in the Super Bowl, they had Chad Henne at quarterback. So Chad Henne led that Browns to the miracle victory over the Browns to that 4th and 1, that nice throw. So I mean, the addition of Carson Wentz, I think it's a great thing for sports, great thing for football. They need a quarterback. So when you have a quarterback, it is what it is. Last thing we're going to talk about, obviously, is it just came out. Bronny James is entering the transfer portal. How do you feel about Bronny James, the son
Whoa,
of James, entering the transfer
whoa,
portal?
whoa, 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 whoa. Lambo, slow down. That's too
What?
much to throw at me. That's
What do you mean
way
that's
too
too
much.
much?
Wow. Whoa, hold
That's
on.
the last. That's the last topic of the night. Bronny
Okay.
James entering the
Wow.
transfer portal.
Okay. All right. Okay. So yeah, you caught me off guard there, but I should have saw the writing on the wall here. Kurt's the firing of Ensel, who moved on to SMU. Um, we'll see. Is he a LeBron guy? Because then Bronny ends up at SMU, and now he's in the ACC because Cal and Stanford and SMU will now play in the ACC next year and play ACC basketball. Um, you know, if he's an Ensel guy and the Ensel's his guy, then I see him at SMU next year and playing in the ACC.
Mm. So does Bronny go with the coach, or does Barney go to a Duke, UConn? Where do you think he best fits if that doesn't happen?
Man, man, you are open up Pandora's box. Can you imagine him and the hoopla surrounding him if he joined UConn?
Uh,
I don't like Duke, and I'm gonna tell you why I don't like Duke. And I told you
I
the
don't
other
like. I
night
don't
why I
like
don't
him
like
either.
Duke.
I don't like
And
him
I
either.
mean, I mean, it's not that I don't like Duke as a team. I mean, I'm not a person about teams. I just don't like the setup at Duke. I don't like how Shire's doing business. I don't like how I just think that they need to adopt more of the Connecticut model. Like they don't have enough vets around their young players, and it's almost in this today's basketball setting people up to fail because just like they asked Filipowski to carry the entire post offense, they're going to ask this young kid next year, Cooper Flag or whatever his name is. I think his last
Yep.
name's Flag. I don't know his first name. They're going to ask
Cooper
him
Flag.
to. He's going to be hey, you got to walk in there and be a walking double double right away. I mean, and it's like, well, coach, what if I don't do that? Well, then we're going to lose. Well, oh my God, it's too much pressure. The bigs over there at UConn and the young guys at UConn don't have that pressure. The freshmen that are playing for Hurley don't have that pressure because they have guys around them that can go get theirs, and that's where um, I'd be interested to see. I'd be interested to see because again, Ronnie went to USC, and LeBron had a lot to do with that, and then Ansel was at USC, so obviously he liked the coach. Ronnie got, I mean, playing time, whatever, and Ansel's not at SMU. SMU is not. SMU's a nice landing spot coming out of USC, and on top of that, you're going to the ACC. So they can portal a team quickly together to compete early in the ACC and make some noise. They really can. I mean, remember SMU is in Dallas. You got the whole state of Texas. There's not one. There's not another team. There's not another school in Texas that plays in the ACC. That is a little bit spicy, and
Yeah.
I can't wait to see where he lands.
Um, Ronnie James, freshman year, he did come off the bench. He only averaged 5 points a game, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. That's 25 games. He had 6 starts. He did miss the first 8 games with a cardiac arrest after he suffered that during a workout in the off season. It was very sad and tragic. Um, LeBron James did come out to the media and said that he has some important decisions, but with the coach moving, he'll probably enter the transfer portal, which I agree. But you're mentioning the ACC. I think Bronny James can land at UConn. He can land at UNC. Um, he can land what? UConn, UNC. Ooh, I think the school's going to be in the ACC. The
Well,
ACC
you
is
know
where the
what?
is at.
Hey Lambo, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, but you're making valid points here. You're mentioning blue bloods. Don't leave out Kansas, and the reason
Kansas,
I
yep.
said I said that is because this is year two in college. If you're thinking of year two in college and position yourself to go to the NBA draft, you're going to want to be on a team that's surrounded that has a collection of other guys that that is primed to make a deep playoff run in the NCAA tournament because that deep playoff run, you're like, well, what's it about a deep playoff run? Well, the deep playoff run creates the buzz before his draft year because he probably will come out next year. So so they're looking over the landscape, trying to position themselves be to get the most exposure as possible, so he can come out and come in. The reason I mentioned SMU because I think I I I I feel that if LeBron has a relationship with the coach, and then the guard that was at USC this year, I can't recall his name. He's gonna probably enter the draft. Um, he was one of those one and done guys. Now, if he goes on to SMU, he can be featured. He could average 16 points, 7 assists, and and they could you know get in the portal and put a team together because Randy Edsel, he came from Florida Gulf Coast. The what do they call those the guys
Florida Gulf Coast.
the the dunk masters or whatever.
Yeah.
They used to throw lobs and dunks, and that's how he got the USC job. But he's adept at recruiting one, and then now if he's adept at getting in the portal and collecting a team, I mean we've seen. I mean, and again, this team no one talks about, but Utah State, whose coach came to Richmond to coach VCU, they lost. I heard on a radio show a couple of days ago. They lost every point score all season. Anyone who scored a point was not on the roster as of the summertime, and they put a team together that competed and made the NCAA tournament with the following coach after the coach left and came to VCU. So it can be done, and we're talking Utah State here in Logan, Utah. Now you're talking SMU in Dallas, Texas. Can't hop in the portal and put together a team around Bronny to make a run at the NCAA tournament and make some noise in the ACC because ACC is the ACC. The ACC is a basketball conference, and they get a lot of TV time, and that's what they're looking for. I think that's what LeBron's looking for Bronny because Bronny wants to be a pro.
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to a Big 12 school or like a Houston. Houston is a team that plays together. Houston doesn't need guys that need to score average 20 points a game either. Houston is a very solid defensive team. You can add Houston in there. Kentucky is a no. You got too many young guys. Alabama could be one. Alabama's in the Final Four. Basically, whoever, like you said, whoever is going to compete for championships. But my top five, if I'm Bronny, it's going to be UNC. It's going to be Duke. It's going to be Kansas. Um,
Connecticut.
And just give me a top four. It's gonna be those schools. Whoever
Gonzaga.
Gonzaga do got some dogs. Gonzaga got some dogs now. Gonzaga, Mark Few, one of the great coaches. Yeah, give me that top five right there. Give me that top five. Duke, UNC, Connecticut, Gonzaga, Kansas. That's my top five for Bronny James. We'll see where he goes. But like I said, he has until the summertime. There's going to be some decisions that has to be made. But this is it for TotemPole Sports on a late night. We want to thank you, TotemPole Nation, for 120 subscribers. Me, Lambo, and we have the man from Soul, Paul. We want to thank you. We appreciate you. Don't forget to get your merch at TotemPole Nation. This merch right here, get at TotemPole Nation, is on sale. We are sponsored by St. Pete Rejuvenate. And also, we want to thank you, Silent Sports Number, for this platform. We will be back on tomorrow, same time, at 10 o'clock. More content, more sports, because it's what we love and it's what we do. And we're here to change for the better. We'll see y'all later. Y'all have a great night.